It's a couple minutes after 5 and I've just gotten on the road to drive to Kemah to help John finish installing his arch. And that's what I love about the sailing community. We're all willing to help and I want to pay it forward. There's been a lot of guys that have stopped what they were doing to either give me advice or lend a hand, and this is my opportunity to return the favor. I wish it wasn't a 4.5 hour drive, but it is what it is, and I'm just happy to help. I've made the trip between Corpus and Houston no less than 8 times this year, which includes several trips looking at boats for sale, attending sailing classes, crewing on a sailboat delivery, and installing the arch. I should have known it wasn't going to be an easy day when I woke up to unexpected rain and I had to stop at 2 different gas stations just to get a cup of hot coffee. It was important that I help John finish the arch. With projects like this, I'm reminded of a family member who was always eager to help in the beginning but would suddenly disappear when the less exciting work started. I vividly remember when we needed to fall a tree on my grandfather's property and he spearheaded the work and even volunteered to use the chainsaw, but once the tree was on the ground, he always seemed to disappear as the rest of us cleared the debris and hauled the logs and limbs away. We've all known people like this, and there were life lessons seeing that behavior when I was younger. That's why I always try to finish what I start. With that being said, I had no way of knowing that today we would work another solid 8 hours and still not finish the installation. All right, after about 4.5 hours, I've made it to Kemah. So let the work begin. If I can stay awake. All right, so I think we mark on, so let's choose this way. In the first episode of the Arch Install, I failed to introduce the crew. John and I met through Chris with Chasing Latitudes when I helped him crew his Oceanis 41.1 from the Dominican Republic to Nassau. Like John and I, Justin is an aspiring blue water sailor from Texas, and he's also a member of Chasing Latitudes, which is how we all know each other. Ironically, he had already seen a few of my videos when we met in an ASA 105 class a few months ago. So the guys have already been out here this morning and they've cut the legs to length, and so that's where they're going to rest on either side. There's a little bit of discrepancy. I can't see it. They were saying that when you measure it from the top of this deck down to here, they're seeing a difference, but they're more concerned, which I think is important, that the arch itself remains level. You're drilling,
yeah,
and there's only one other guy on the deck, and he says he's going to make it easier for the guy that's whoever's going to go down there.
I think he was talking about you. Ready?
Yep. John was very trusting of us, but we still measured multiple times before nervously drilling a new hole into the boat.
There you go.
All right. Leave it on the deck here, in case you need it. Okay. Yeah, nice and easy for us here.
Like, I think we just lean it on the lifeline tubing and then kind of rotate it towards us and then pull it off. Are you ready?
Yeah. We're using the top and lift to hoist the arch out of the way so we can apply the epoxy to form a chemical bond between the legs of the arch and the foot.
These guys are all working teamwork, doing a great job.
I foolishly made a large batch of epoxy in 90-degree temperature, so we barely had enough time to apply the epoxy and install the hardware. Oh, you're gonna be coming down side now? Yeah. Got it? Yep. And here we have the arch going back into place for hopefully the last time. Okay. I didn't catch it on video, but a couple bolts rode off the open transom and into the marina. We were sure that we had extras, but after several minutes of searching, we decided it would be easier just to buy new bolts. Luckily, West Marine and Home Depot are only a couple miles away. We needed to pick up some West Systems epoxy and an extra cap nut, so the trip didn't slow us down too much because we needed to go anyways. In a perfect world, we would have used penetrating oil for drilling the holes, but again, we didn't have any readily available, so we made do with what we had, which was a Starbucks cup and water. This only worked because we were drilling into aluminum, which is relatively soft.
Justin is suspended in the air here. We didn't put the Loctite on, and we did that on purpose because we wanted to make sure that everything was mocked up. And we're being a bit lazy, not wanting to take the arch all the way down, which would involve a lot of work. So he is stretching across the stern here, and taking his life into his own hands to take these bolts off, put the Loctite on, and then the bridge will be finalized. So we just got through doing the through bolts from the arch legs to the knuckle, or whatever that's called, the attachment point for the boat. And so our next one is we're going to do the chemical bond with the epoxy.
Can you grab a trash bag full of garbage? Thank you.
Oh, this is much better. Oh my God.
These young men have been so gracious to give their time to us the last 2 weekends, and we appreciate it so much. It's getting there, y'all.
I hope so.
Looks great.
It's hard to believe how quickly the day came to an end. Since I was the one crawling into the lazaret, there's no video of us securing the backing plates from the underside, which probably took at least 2 hours. We desperately wanted to finish this project, so we worked through lunch. We were all starting to get pretty tired towards the end of the day, so capturing video became less and less important to me. However, I took a few minutes to fly the drone for a few shots before driving back home.
We were not able to finish the project once again. We had a handful of small little errors. We were losing nuts and bolts that we were carelessly dropping into the water. I took it a step further and dropped not only a ratchet but also a backing plate, which is a proprietary item that we need for the install. It's up. We didn't get a chance to finish the dinghy davits, or we were hoping to go as far as maybe even get some of the solar up today. But it is up and it looks really good, and John's super happy. But the only thing that's left with the arch is that we need to use epoxy to bed the backing plates, and then we got to order the one that is now sitting at the bottom of the marina, and then so put those on. That should be a very easy task. The surface is uneven on the backside, which is why we need to use thickened epoxy to level out those pressures that are against that backing plate. All right, well, I'm heading back to Corpus Christi. It's right at 6 o'clock, which means I won't be home till probably somewhere between 10:30 or 11 o'clock. But it was worth it. I was glad to help them out. I felt horrible that I dropped a tool and a backing plate in the water, but it wasn't on purpose. I was down in a hatch in the lazaret, and I set it on the edge, and on the aft side of that edge, it's only about an inch, so nothing sits there. You can't see that when you're down in the lazaret. And I'm not trying to make an excuse, but it looks like that's a ledge. You set it there, and then it rolls down into the sugar scoop, and it's off into the water. All right, well, I'm gonna turn this off for the time, get on the road, and maybe get some dinner. All right, we'll see you later.
Thanks for watching till the end and following my journey, one adventure at a time. If you like this video, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. Your engagement really helps the algorithm show my videos to a broader audience. Stay tuned next week as we survey a Jeanneau Sun Odyssey 39i. Alright, thanks, and I'll see you next time.